Have you ever noticed that after 60, even if you eat well and stay active, your strength seems to slip away faster than it used to? That's not your imagination, it's biology. After midlife, the body begins a process called sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength. And here's the startling fact. By the time most people reach their 70s, they've already lost up to 30% of their muscle tissue. Why does that matter? Because muscle is not just about looking strong, it is your body's longevity. Organ. It stabilizes your joints, protects your bones, regulates your blood sugar, and even influences brain health through powerful chemical signals called myokines. So when muscle begins to waste away, energy, balance, and even mood decline right along with it. Now here's the surprising twist. One of the simplest and most overlooked tools to fight back against sarcopenia isn't a supplement or even a workout. It's the right kind of cheese. Yes, cheese. Most people think of cheese as a guilty pleasure, but modern nutrition and neuroscience research shows certain cheeses are packed with unique proteins, amino acids, and bioactive compounds that can actually rebuild muscle tissue, support your nervous system, and protect your brain as you age. Here's what the research shows. High-quality dairy proteins like casein and whey are especially effective at stimulating muscle protein synthesis, the process your body uses to repair and grow muscle fibers. And when you combine that with targeted exercise and good sleep, it's like giving your muscles the raw materials and the instructions to stay strong. In today's talk, we'll break down the 3 specific cheeses that science suggests are most powerful for rebuilding muscle after 60. How each one works at the molecular level, from fueling mitochondria to calming inflammation. And most importantly, how to fit them into your daily routine without overloading your system. By the end, you'll walk away with a simple, evidence-based strategy you can start today. One that can help you feel steadier on your feet, sharper in your mind, and more alive in your body. So let's begin. Have you ever wondered why some older adults seem to maintain strength effortlessly while others feel their muscles slipping away, even when they eat enough protein? The secret often comes down to protein type and timing, and one unsung hero is casein protein, found in cheeses like Parmesan, aged cheddar, and Gouda. Here's what the research shows. Unlike whey, which is digested quickly, casein forms a gel in your stomach, releasing amino acids slowly over several hours. This slow release is critical after 60 because muscle protein synthesis, the process your body uses to repair and grow muscle fibers, naturally slows down with age. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 2010, demonstrated that older adults who consumed casein before bed had higher overnight muscle protein synthesis than those who didn't. In simple terms, casein acts like a night shift for your muscles, quietly repairing and rebuilding while you sleep. Think of it like watering a plant. Pouring a bucket of water all at once may help temporarily, but a slow drip throughout the night ensures the roots absorb the moisture fully. That's exactly what casein does. It keeps your muscles fed steadily, which is especially crucial when your anabolic signals weaken with age. But how do you turn this into a real practical routine? A simple tool to apply is incorporating a small portion of aged cheese about 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Roughly 30 grams, about the size of a small thumb, provides enough casein to fuel overnight repair without overloading your system. Pairing this with a glass of water or herbal tea helps with digestion and hydration. And here's a subtle yet powerful behavioral hack. Place your pre-bedtime cheese on a dedicated plate in the fridge, labeled Muscle Repair Snack. Visual. Cues like this trigger your brain's habit loop. Cue, routine, reward, making it more likely you'll stick to it consistently. Over time, this becomes almost automatic, and your body starts expecting these amino acids overnight, maximizing repair efficiency. What's happening in your body when you do this is fascinating. As the amino acids trickle into your bloodstream, they stimulate mTOR signaling, a cellular pathway that tells muscle fibers, grow and repair now. This is exactly what slows sarcopenia, strengthens joints, and supports metabolic health. So, the takeaway is clear. Not all proteins are equal. Casein cheese before bed is not just a tasty snack. It's a strategic intervention that harnesses your body's natural repair cycles to rebuild muscle after 60. And if this insight is helping you, consider subscribing. There's more science-backed nutrition strategies coming that can transform your strength, energy, and resilience. Imagine finishing a light resistance workout, and within minutes, your muscles are already getting the building blocks they need to repair and grow. That's the power of whey protein, abundant in cheeses like ricotta, cottage cheese, and some fresh mozzarella. While casein works slowly overnight, whey acts like an express delivery system for amino acids, giving your muscles a rapid, targeted boost when they need it most. Here's what the research shows. Whey is rich in leucine, a branched-chain amino acid that directly triggers mTOR signaling, the same pathway we discussed with casein, but much faster. In older adults, this quick spike is critical because the muscle's sensitivity to protein diminishes with age, a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance. A study published in Nutrients 2021 found that participants over 60 who consumed whey-rich foods immediately after exercise had significant gains in lean muscle mass compared to those who waited or consumed slower-digesting proteins. Think of whey as the first responder of muscle repair. After your workout, your muscles are like a construction site with raw materials scattered on the ground. Whey swoops in, delivering amino acids exactly where they are needed, jump-starting the rebuilding process efficiently and effectively. So how can you apply this immediately? A simple tool is to enjoy a half cup of cottage cheese or a small bowl of ricotta within 30 minutes post-workout, ideally combined with a light movement like bodyweight squats or resistance band exercises. This combination reinforces the signal for your muscles to grow while also improving neuromuscular coordination, which tends to decline with age. Here's a practical behavioral tip. Pre-portion your whey-rich cheese servings into small containers at the start of the week. When your workout ends, your snack is ready. No thinking required. This leverages the habit stacking principle. Exercise triggers eating, creating a seamless routine that your brain and muscles learn to expect. What's happening neurologically is equally fascinating. As leucine enters your bloodstream, it not only triggers muscle repair but also stimulates satiety hormones, keeping your energy levels steady and reducing late-night cravings, a subtle bonus that supports both metabolic health and lean mass retention. The key takeaway here is simple yet powerful. Whey protein is the fast lane for muscle recovery. By pairing whey-rich cheeses with targeted movement, you activate rapid repair cycles, counteract sarcopenia, and reinforce a habit that strengthens your body and mind. If this insight is helping you, comment below with your favorite post-workout cheese snack. Your experience might inspire someone else in our community. Most people think of cheese as just protein and fat, but here's a surprising fact. Certain cheeses contain bioactive peptides, tiny protein fragments that act like molecular messengers, actively influencing your muscles, metabolism, and even your brain. These aren't just building blocks. They're functional compounds that fight inflammation, improve vascular health, and support insulin sensitivity, all of which play a role in preserving muscle as you age. Here's what the research shows. Studies in Nutrients and the Journal of Dairy Science have found that aged cheeses like Swiss, Gruyere, and some hard cheddars are particularly rich in these peptides. They help regulate blood flow, ensuring that muscles receive nutrients efficiently and reduce chronic inflammation, which is a key driver of sarcopenia. One fascinating study even demonstrated that bioactive peptides can enhance muscle cell signaling, essentially helping muscle fibers respond more effectively to protein intake. Think of bioactive peptides as the support crew at a construction site. While casein and whey deliver the bricks, amino acids, to rebuild your muscles, peptides ensure that the site has proper lighting, scaffolding, and waste removal. Without them, the building process is slower and less efficient. So how do you apply this practically? A simple behavioral strategy is rotating cheeses in your weekly routine. For example, you might enjoy Swiss on a morning omelette, Gruyere in an afternoon snack, and Parmesan sprinkled over dinner. By diversifying your intake, you maximize exposure to different peptides, each with slightly different benefits for muscle, vascular, and metabolic health. Here's a neuroscience-based insight. These peptides also modulate stress and inflammation pathways in the brain, helping maintain mood stability and motivation, critical factors in sticking with your fitness routine after 60. When you consistently provide your muscles and nervous system with these compounds, you're essentially creating a neuromuscular feedback loop that reinforces both physical and mental resilience. A motivational behavioral tip. Consider pairing your peptide-rich cheese intake with light social or mindful rituals, like sharing a small cheese plate with a friend or enjoying it during a quiet reflection time. This strengthens habit formation through positive emotional reinforcement, making the practice more likely to stick. The takeaway is clear. Cheese isn't just protein. It's a multifunctional tool. By incorporating bioactive peptides into your diet, you fight inflammation, support vascular and metabolic health, and create a strong foundation for muscle preservation well into your later years. If this resonates, drop a comment on which cheese you plan to add this week. Small changes, when consistent, lead to remarkable long-term strength. You might be thinking, I'm eating the right cheeses. Isn't that enough? Not quite. Here's a counterintuitive insight. When and how you consume protein-rich cheese can be just as important as which cheeses you choose. As we age, our neuromuscular signaling and circadian rhythms become less efficient, meaning the timing of nutrients can dramatically influence muscle repair and growth. Here's what the research shows. A study in the Journal of Nutrition, 2018, found that older adults who consumed protein immediately after resistance training experienced significantly greater muscle protein synthesis than those who delayed protein intake by just a few hours. Another insight from Chronobiology International shows that nutrient timing aligned with circadian rhythms enhances metabolic efficiency and hormonal support for muscle repair. Essentially, your muscles respond better when fed at the right times of day. Think of your muscles like a smartphone battery. Casein and Whey are the charging power. Timing is when you plug in. Plug in at the wrong time and you only get partial charge. Plug in when the system is ready, right after activity, or in sync with your biological clock, and the battery fills efficiently. So how can you apply this? A simple protocol is 1. Morning activation. Pair a small whey-rich cheese snack with light sunlight exposure or morning mobility exercises. This combination improves neuromuscular efficiency and reinforces circadian cues. Post-workout repair. Within 30 minutes after resistance training or bodyweight exercises, consume whey or a mixed protein cheese to trigger rapid mTOR activation. Evening rebuild. End the day with a slow-digesting casein cheese to feed overnight muscle protein synthesis. Here's a behavioral hack. Create a visual cue system. Place a small container of morning cheese by your breakfast plate, post-workout cheese in your gym bag, and pre-bed cheese on your nightstand. The cues themselves trigger habit loops, making consistent timing effortless. What's happening in meow? Your brain during this process is fascinating. Coordinated nutrient timing enhances dopamine signaling tied to reward and motivation. In other words, you're not just feeding your muscles, you're training your brain to anticipate and enjoy healthy routines, reinforcing long-term adherence. The takeaway is simple. Cheese works best when paired with the right activity and timing. Aligning your intake with your body's natural repair cycles ensures maximum muscle preservation, metabolic support, and mental reinforcement. If this insight is helping, hit like and share in the comments your favorite timing strategy. It can help others build a simple, science-backed routine. Here's a truth many people over 60 overlook. Even healthy, muscle-supporting foods can backfire if portioning and context aren't considered. Cheese is nutrient-dense, packed with protein, fats, and minerals, but overdoing it can lead to unwanted weight gain, insulin spikes, or metabolic stress. On the other hand, the right amounts actually improve metabolic health, stabilize blood sugar, and protect lean mass. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition 2017 highlights that older adults consuming moderate, high-quality dairy had better glucose homeostasis, insulin sensitivity, and satiety compared to those who consumed either too little protein or excessive processed foods. Essentially, strategic cheese intake supports lean body composition while reducing the risk factors for chronic diseases common in later life. Think of it this way. Your metabolism after 60 is like a precision engine. You want to supply high-octane fuel without overfilling the tank. A small portion of nutrient-rich cheese provides essential amino acids, calcium, and healthy fats, fueling muscle repair and energy metabolism while avoiding overload that triggers fat storage or inflammation. Here's a practical, science-based protocol. 1. Portion control. Aim for roughly 30 grams per serving, the size of a small thumb, to maximize protein intake without excess calories. Pair with fiber. Include vegetables, whole grains, or fruit to moderate glycemic response and improve satiety. Meal balance. Use cheese strategically as part of a mixed meal rather than as a primary calorie source. This supports both muscle repair and metabolic stability. A behavioral science tip: pre-portion weekly cheese servings in small containers. Studies in habit formation show that environmental design, having foods pre-measured, drastically improves adherence to dietary goals. When the right portion is visually obvious and ready to grab, your brain automatically selects the optimal amount, reducing decision fatigue and temptation. Neuroscience also reveals a subtle bonus. Stable blood sugar from balanced portions helps regulate dopamine and norepinephrine signaling, which enhances focus, energy, and mood, critical factors for maintaining both mental and physical performance after 60. The key takeaway: quality and quantity matter equally. By choosing the right cheeses, controlling portions, and pairing them with fiber-rich foods, you fuel your muscles, protect metabolic health, and create a foundation for longevity. This isn't about restriction, it's about precision nutrition for sustainable strength. If this insight is resonating, share in the comments your strategies for balancing nutrition and muscle support. Our community thrives on practical tips. We've covered the science: slow-digesting casein, fast-acting whey, bioactive peptides, optimal timing, and metabolic strategies. But here's a critical insight: knowledge alone doesn't build muscle. Consistent action does. After 60, forming lasting habits can be challenging because motivation fluctuates and routines are disrupted more easily. This is where behavioral science becomes your secret weapon. Here's what research shows. Habits form most reliably when you leverage cue, routine, reward loops, and environmental design. A 2012 study in health psychology found that older adults were far more likely to sustain a nutritional habit when it was paired with a consistent daily cue. Something as simple as placing a pre-portioned cheese snack where it would naturally be seen each day. Think of it like training a muscle. The brain strengthens the pathway from intention to action over repeated, small repetitions. You're not relying on willpower. You're creating a neurological shortcut that makes eating muscle-supporting cheese almost automatic. Here's a practical framework to apply. Cue. Choose a reliable daily trigger, like breakfast, post-workout, or pre-bedtime. Routine. Consume your pre-portioned cheese serving paired with water, fiber, or light movement. Reward. Celebrate the habit immediately. Even a simple internal acknowledgement reinforces dopamine signaling, which strengthens the behavior. Another powerful tool is habit stacking. For example, after brushing your teeth at night, you grab your casein cheese for overnight muscle repair. Linking a new habit to an established routine dramatically increases the likelihood of consistency. And here's a subtle but motivating insight. When you successfully implement these small habits, your confidence and self-efficacy rise, which encourages adherence to other health-promoting behaviors. Neuroscience shows this positive feedback strengthens prefrontal cortex pathways, enhancing executive function and self-regulation. In short, building muscle through consistent nutrition also sharpens your mind. So the takeaway is clear: muscle supporting. Cheese works best when paired with smart habits. Pre-portion servings, link them to existing routines, and celebrate each small success. Over time, these tiny, consistent actions compound, creating a robust, muscle-preserving lifestyle. If this insight is helping you, consider commenting below on the habit you plan to implement first. Sharing your plan reinforces commitment and encourages others in our community. Let's step back and connect the dots. Over 60, muscle loss is not just inevitable, it's modifiable, even reversible. The 6 insights we explored today provide a clear roadmap. Casein protein works slowly, fueling overnight repair, and strengthening muscles while you sleep. Whey protein acts fast, triggering repair immediately post-activity and jump-starting growth. Bioactive peptides go beyond protein, reducing inflammation, improving blood flow, and optimizing neuromuscular function. Timing and pairing of protein intake with exercise and your biological rhythms amplifies muscle repair and metabolic efficiency. Caloric and metabolic considerations ensure that cheese supports lean mass without overloading your system. Behavioral science principles make these strategies stick, turning science into consistent action. What's the deep why behind all this? Muscle is more than strength. It's longevity, independence, and mental resilience. Preserving lean mass improves balance, protects joints, stabilizes blood sugar, and even supports cognitive health through myokines, the chemical messengers released by contracting muscles. In other words, every small action you take today, a pre-bedtime Casein snack, a post-workout Whey serving, or a simple habit loop, compounds into years of vitality, mental clarity, and mobility. Here's a practical challenge. Tonight, take one of the cheeses we discussed, portion it mindfully, and pair it with a small cue or ritual. Notice the ritual itself. It's not just a snack. It's a signal to your body and brain that repair and growth are happening. This single intentional step reinforces the habits and mechanisms we've discussed. Remember, this is a journey, not a single meal or workout. Each protein-rich, peptide-packed cheese is a building block. Each consistent habit strengthens both body and mind. And every small, deliberate choice compounds into real, measurable improvements in strength, stability, and energy. Finally, our community grows stronger when we share experiences. Comment below with the cheese or habit you'll implement first. Like this video if you found the strategies actionable, and subscribe to continue exploring science-backed ways to optimize your mind, body, and life. Together, we can transform what aging looks like, from inevitable decline to empowered, evidence-based strength and vitality. So start today. Feed your muscles, train your habits, and reclaim strength, not just for your body, but for your brain, your independence, and your life.